Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about a subject that you may wonder, am I too young for this? We're going to be talking about aging in place. So what does aging in place mean? The CDC says it is the ability to live in one's home and community safely, independently, and comfortably, regardless of age, income, or ability level. Simply put, aging in place means choosing to stay in your home with your family, your friends, and neighbors instead of moving to a residential facility as you get older. You may not have a choice, though, if your home stops accommodating your needs and becomes a safety concern.
Yep.
So this doesn't really just pertain to older people.
Mm-mm.
This could be for anyone with special needs. If you've had surgery.
Like when we had our foot surgery,
Yes.
and we both
Yes.
on scooters for months.
If you may have to have a parent come live with you.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just a couple of reasons that this can affect you. So before we really dive into this topic, we'd like to thank Gabby for sponsoring this episode.
Hey to our friends at Gabby. So if you don't know about Gabby, Gabby melds traditional and modern design for a beautiful transitional style. They create exclusive furnishings, statement-making lighting that conveys just that right bit of wow. And that's why we turn to them so much, to be honest. It's our go-to for fresh transitional design pieces that elevate a room's style. They carry unique and organic inspired materials such as rattan, bone, reclaimed wood, and their mirrors, lighting, and furniture are a highlight in whatever room that we put them in. So you can visit Gabby. It's a To The Trade showroom. You can go see them in Atlanta, in High Point, and in Dallas. And while you're there, check out some of our all-time favorites, like the Elena table lamp. We have so many, but here's just a few. The Colton coffee table, the Jasper desk is amazing. And just visit their website, gabbyhome.com, and you will be very impressed.
Okay.
And when you're in High Point, oh, by the way, Summer Classics is under their umbrella.
Yeah.
So you will see them as well.
And actually, they're on our tour. They're on our Insiders
Yes.
tour. So if you're coming on the tour with us, we will be visiting
It's
this
always a fan
wonderful
favorite.
showroom. Yes.
Yeah.
So we felt that we should talk about this topic
Yep.
for three reasons. Okay. One.
Yep.
It seems like all of it happened sort of at one time. So
Yes.
there was an article in the August issue of Southern Living. There was a book written by a good friend of ours, Mitzi Beach. And then Kelly's parents were renovating their bathroom. So let's get into it. We can talk about the Southern Living article first.
Yep. So it was just interesting because right when I was working with my parents to renovate their bathrooms, which we'll get to, I'm reading the latest Southern Living. And there's an article in here by Frances McDougall, who was a former magazine editor for Southern Accents.
Do you remember Southern Accents?
Yes.
I loved that
Oh my
magazine.
God, I love that magazine. And I really had a trip down memory lane when she mentioned it. And so she used to edit stories about decorating, antiques, art, travel, and entertaining. And for most of her life, she lived in this circa 1900s arts and crafts, like super cool house perched on a hill. And she had these very imposing set of front steps. And what happened was she learned at a very young age that she had multiple sclerosis. And so she really resisted altering this house. And, she didn't want to add the ugly grab bars and it put in industrial ramps and all this stuff. So I want to read just a second of what she said, because it really, I was like, wow, that is so cool. So let's see. She says, it is, my goal is the same as anyone's, to move through life and extract joy from my surroundings as I continue to shape my world on my terms. From a design perspective, I wanted to have wide, airy doorways that could also accommodate whatever sort of walking aid I might eventually need and any art collection I chose to display. Great way of looking at wide hallways.
Mhm.
I didn't want to see grab bars. I thought maybe they could be towel bars or hidden from view. Then I became a little obsessed with decorating the elevator. Applying the same style lens that I'd focused on past powder rooms, I envisioned a herringbone wood floor, graphic wallpaper or printed fabric, and a brass control panel. I researched light switches that could be placed low enough to be reached when standing or sitting, but were also discreet enough to disappear. In my planning, the construction of a new house became as much about aesthetics as accessibility. It would reflect me and my family, featuring our tastes as well as practical necessities. And she goes on and on to say what she did to her beautiful home to accommodate her, and you wouldn't even know it by looking at her home at all, that she had MS and she needed all this help.
And at first, they thought about hiring an architect. In universal design.
Yes.
Okay. They would want it to be functional, but not look like it was like so accessible. So then they happened upon a one-story mid-century modern house.
Yep.
It had walls of windows and flush thresholds. She said it was as if the 1960s architect had read her mind. So how great is that?
Yeah.
So there were no steps to the front entry.
Yep.
It had the wide passages and doorways throughout. It had a large shower that could accommodate a bench and a nice light that streamed in to make her happy. But they still had some challenges. They had to do some work with the kitchen, the baths, and all those to make them, and the laundry. But she said her life now has inspired a different perspective. As she stated, homes are meant to be lived in, polished and bruised by the highs and lows of everyday life.
Oh my God, I love that. And just like you were defining what aging in place is, she defines universal design in here, and you can go into universaldesign.org if you want to learn more about it. But the term refers to a process where everything is made to be as functional as possible for as many people as possible. And that the concept is broad and multi-layered, but as it pertained to me, she says, it meant a space that would keep me safe and help free my days from unnecessary frustrations. And, you know, I had, it's funny. Did you have your foot problems first, or did I?
You did first.
I did first.
But it was during COVID.
Yes. Well, when I planned my surgery, we didn't know COVID was coming down the pike. But I had plantar fasciitis and all these problems, and I had surgery, and I could not walk on my own 2 feet for 2 months. I was on a scooter. I couldn't. I mean, Joanne was my chauffeur. And thank God I have a 0 entry house and I have a 0 entry shower. So I was lucky, so lucky. I lived on that scooter pretty easily.
Because then,
but not you.
A year later, here we are at the office.
Yep.
And I did one of those where your foot kind of goes like that. And
off the front porch.
It was really painful. And then I got in the car, and as I was driving home, it was like, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And by the time I got home, I really couldn't even put any pressure on it. So I had, I don't think it's called broke, something with the 5th metatarsal, if you know anything about feet.
I thought you did break it.
I did, but I don't know if
it
that's
was
the
a tiny
word
fracture or something.
Break, but it's the fifth metatarsal,
that little baby
like
bone.
This part, like, of your anyway. Scooter for 2 months.
Now, payback.
It
was such payback.
I don't have a bedroom on the first floor.
No.
I don't have a 0 threshold. I have 2 steps that go up into my garage. So I was really, you were
really working
tough.
those triceps, going backwards up your stairs.
I was going backwards up my stairs. Now, if I was a lot older, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So
So listen up, people, because this applies to everybody.
To think about.
Yeah.
And so then our good friend Mitzi Beach, she wrote a book. I don't know how old is that book now? 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh gosh, here we have it right here. Let me look at it. She wrote 2. Did she write 2?
She might have, but this was really good. I mean, she calls the name of the book is Boomer Smarts, Boomer Power. And so the thing behind the smarts, what that is,
2013. Ahead of her time.
God, 10 years ago.
Yes.
See, time goes so much faster than we realize. But the reason for the word smarts was your spaces, your mindsets, your
Yes.
mindset on aging, attitudes of aging,
Mhm.
routines,
Mhm.
lifestyles, togetherness, being in the community, and spirituality, our spiritual lives. What is so interesting, I just realized this as I was reading that. If you haven't watched the Netflix documentary, Live to Be 100, the Blue Zones, the secrets of the Blue Zones. And it's
Gotta watch it,
about
people.
people in 5 areas of the world that have the most centenarians, the people that are 100 or older. And they discover what they're doing, what they're eating, how they're moving, and all that. And it's really interesting. But that says a lot of it, like right there.
It really does.
Yep.
It really
So-
does. So she interviewed us for this book years and years ago. And so we've always just been a big fan. But so she talks about, for example, as designers and regular people, she asks all these
We're
people.
regular people.
We're regular people. But, from a design perspective, these
Mhm.
are things that we really have to keep in mind for our clients, because I'm telling you, people like my parents think, even though they're in their early 80s, think that they're in their 40s, and they don't realize what they need to be doing for their homes. And we, as younger people, what everybody really needs to be doing, right? So
Yeah, we have a lot of clients that are in the 40 to 60 range, and that it's not really a topic that comes up
nope.
unless we kind of bring it up, and
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, we recently just did 2
Right.
curbless showers for people.
Yep. I mean, why wouldn't you?
But they didn't think of it.
Yep.
And then when we explained it to them, they were like, oh yeah, we're doing it anyway, we might as well.
Mm-hmm. So a few things that Mitzi brings up in her book, and that we see, and we talk about all the time with our clients. Here's a small example: recliners, motorized versus levers. Okay, most recliners these days actually are motorized. It's just a press of a button. It's so wonderful to help, and it's not just reclining, but also
Helps you out of
moving
your chair.
forward to actually literally push an older person kind of forward and onto their feet. So think about that. Microwave drawers. Still, I have one in both my houses, and still people come over and they go, where's your microwave? It's in the island. You can't see it. It's just a button and it pops out. And still people don't know what a microwave drawer is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're trying to avoid all that reaching
Yes.
up and reaching down. That's why, like, everybody probably at one point had your cabinets at the bottom that you open up and you have to
Mhm.
reach down in there to get like a pan.
Yes.
Well, now, you're doing the pull-out drawers so that you're not
Mhm.
doing that as much. You have to think about
Yeah.
your movement.
The microwave drawer, you literally just take your dish or whatever it is and you put it down in the drawer, but you're not even really bending down
No.
that much. It's really easy.
And then the buttons are on the top of
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. I think people think sometimes that a microwave drawer is you're having to, it's just down lower, but
Yeah.
no, you put
just
it
going
in
in
that
through the
way.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Russ, for showing that on the screen. That's very helpful. Hardwood floors everywhere versus carpet. Just a flat surface with those transitions. One thing that I was really talking to about with my parents is they live in an old farmhouse, and they have these hardwood floors, and then the transition into their tile in their bathrooms, it was a very bad transition. It's kind of like a strip of old hardwood. It's a real
you
bump.
could trip. You could trip
They could
over.
easily trip. So yeah,
falling literally
number
and
one
is
issue.
the number one issue.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that people can do to incorporate these
Mhm.
and make things a little more safer. Slip resistant bathroom surfaces. That's
Yes.
like an easy thing to do. And then you wouldn't think so, but there's additional lighting everywhere. If
Oh,
there's
yes.
a dark corner and you can't see that transition, that's a big one. Laundry on the first floor.
Absolutely.
Primarily-
we're seeing a lot of new construction in Atlanta has 2 laundry rooms. One up, one down. One's the main one, and then there's a little one upstairs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Minimal use of throw rugs.
Oh yeah, that's a trip hazard for sure.
Just use really good rug pads.
Mhm.
The 32 to 36 inch openings
In doorways.
and doorways for walkers, wheelchairs, whatever.
That was a big
that's-
conversation with my parents, because I'm like, listen, guys, you live in this old farmhouse, and I know you have these cute little doorways, but there's going to be a time when I know you don't want to hear this, but you're going to have a walker a wheelchair or somebody assisting you and walking beside you, or like us in our 40s, early 50s.
Oh, thanks.
No, when we had our scooters. We were like, my husband was walking beside me to get me in the shower,
I can't tell
for
you
2 months.
how many chips I have like in my doors and my walls because I kept hitting them.
Yeah. So I think that's a big one.
Yeah. Handrails.
Yes.
On both sides of the stairways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just someone's a little off balance and they're not holding on to something.
And they can be very pretty. We spend a lot of time just in our regular design of custom-made iron staircases in people's homes and all these great ways to make railings beautiful.
Yeah.
So who cares if you have a few extra?
Yeah.
Yeah. The zero entry shower. So when we say zero entry, we just mean no curb. You're not stepping into your shower.
Even if it's that little bit, that makes a difference. You can't get a wheelchair in there. Yep. The other thing is to be able to sit somewhere and have a hand shower.
Yes.
Because I did have to sit. I couldn't stand in the shower.
Right. I couldn't either.
And then think about if you slip.
Mm-hmm.
So having a hand shower so that you can, wash
makes showers easier to clean. Anyway, but it's funny. I just literally got back from Italy last night, and in a lot of the hotels we stayed in that were lovely, but the showers themselves were still really small.
Oh yeah,
right. And so they had really cool ways of getting into the shower, but most of them were, all of them, I will say, that we stayed in the 4 hotels we were in, all had zero entry. And then they had the linear drain. The linear drain is not your round one in the middle.
Yeah.
It's the long, skinny one that's kind of towards
I think it's cool looking.
The back of
I think
the shower.
It's very cool looking.
Very cool looking. And it's just easy. If you're renovating a bathroom, all it is saying to your contractor, I want zero entry, and they have to do a little things, but it's not hard.
Levers on doors versus knobs. My mom has really bad arthritis. I mean, it's
Gripping.
hard for her to turn a knob. I mean, these sound like such
and on faucets
things,
too.
But
I actually like
the levers
doorknobs better.
I think they're pretty. And then the garage entry into the house. That's like another one where there's usually a couple steps. Trying to get the good lighting there, have the handrails,
right?
Because unfortunately, too, when you have a step, you're going to the doctor a lot, so you're going in and out of your house. So your garage entry has to be, set up for that too. Yeah,
that's true. So I recently I live in Atlanta and my parents live in Long Island, New York, and they have this beautiful old farmhouse. And my mom is 80, she'll be 80 in January, and my dad is going to be 84 in October, and they're super healthy and really active. They still play tennis and croquet, and they're really, really healthy. But when I went to visit them, I was like, okay, you guys, I have to have a conversation with you. I know that you're healthy and everything's hunky-dory right now, and I'm pretty positive you don't plan on leaving this house, correct? And they were like, no, don't really want to. And so I'm like, okay, you've got 1 bathroom downstairs by your bedroom, and then you've got 2 upstairs. You still have no problems going upstairs. Your current bathroom has a tub, which mom has not been able to get out of twice. She had a hip replacement, and then she had Lyme's disease, and she was all wonky, and she was calling for my dad to come get her out of the tub. So their doorways were really small because it's a farmhouse. The transitions were small. Their storage was bad. They had like a big 1 sink vanity with no drawers, and they'd always lived in this house. It's cute, but they never thought, this isn't the world they live in. They didn't even think anything was really wrong with the bathroom that they had.
But the other thing is, though, the thing about doing it before something happens.
Exactly.
Because what are you going to do?
Point.
Get a contractor in, have all the product in, or whatever. You got to go through the renovation.
Yeah.
So go through the renovation before you need to.
Yes. And that was my main point. And at first, when I told them this, they were like, oh, no, that's crazy, blah, blah. And then literally within 24 hours, they were like, well, would you help us do this? I'm like, yes, I will help you do this. You just, let's get a contractor in here. Let's talk about, what we have to do. And so the main things that we did is really all the things that we've been talking about. We took out the tub in their main shower, the zero entry shower, more grab bars that are very pretty. We widened doorways. One thing we didn't talk about yet was we are getting them a washlet. So a washlet is a toilet with extra cleaning options. It's kind of like a bidet and a toilet all together in one, so that as people age and they can't quite reach back, or maybe they're having accidents or whatever, it's a nice rinse, warm, cold, front, back, very nice, press of a button. And it's great to do during a renovation, because if you want a nicer one, you need electrical right behind your toilet.
And if you're building a house, or even if you want to put one in your existing house, it's pretty easy to do.
Absolutely.
I have one.
I have one too.
And I really love it. I really love it.
I really love it.
For toddlers too, kids that are,
can't really wipe
quite
well. Yeah. We gave them a lot more storage and better lighting. And I keep telling them, I said, you have no idea what you have missed all these years, because this just isn't your jam and it's not what you really even think about. And I'm just so proud of them and grateful for that they were willing to pay for this, renovation, and just be open to it, because it is, I told them, it's for your health. This is for you, for your comfort, for your, you want to be in this house till the end.
Renovations don't necessarily all mean just aesthetics. I mean, it's function.
Yes, for sure. So I'm really excited. The last of the tile has just arrived. I think the contractor's starting the 1st of October. So it's going to be great. And they ended up they kind of got the little bug. So they're doing one of the bathrooms upstairs and the primary. So they're leaving one. They couldn't quite mentally handle the chaos of 3 bathrooms at once. And they need a bathroom to use while this is all going on. But yeah.
So can I jump in here for just a second? Because I had no idea you were doing the episode on this. And if I had known, I would have put on my makeup and everything for the camera. And of course,
why
if
are
you don't
you 100?
If you don't want this in here, I can edit it out. But so my mother-in-law lives in Atlanta, and I'm in South Florida, and we talked about she's wanting to, when she can't handle everything on her own, she's wanting to come down here with us. So she's saying, I could sell my house, you could sell your house, and we can buy a house that can have a mother-in-law suite and everything like that. And I'm like, we don't want to leave our house. So just yesterday, I was thinking, we can turn this little patio space that we have in our backyard and close it up into a room. But here's our challenge, and this is what I was going to talk to you about. It would end up being a room that's like 8 by 8, maybe 8 by 9.
Is it just for sleeping?
It would be just for sleeping.
Okay. Is there, as long as there's maybe another place for her to hang out, like if that's where she's supposed to hang out.
The whole downstairs. The problem is our extra bedroom is upstairs, and we don't want her having to go upstairs. And then our master bedroom is downstairs, so we would need a space for her downstairs. She'd have access to the kitchen, a bathroom, everything. But 8 by 8.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah. It's small, but I think she'd much rather be with you than with in
a facility somewhere.
Yeah. So, and
then, your boys are going to be going to college at some point.
Well, their rooms are probably upstairs, right?
Yes, they are. But can we stop rushing that?
Well, yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah.
No, I was like speed it up.
No, yeah. See, I'm glad you jumped in, because these are the kind of things we just need to be thinking about. I mean, when I brought this up to my parents at dinner when I was visiting, they looked at me like I had 3 heads. Like they literally had never considered it. And I mean, at least, at minimal, I would have thought my mom would have thought about that she can't get in and out of the tub as easily as she once could, So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for jumping in, Ross, because it goes to show you that you have to think about it, and it's never too early. You're not too young.
You're not, and it's not an ugly thing. It's a wellness thing. Yeah. It's a living better thing.
The other thing too, I think with the real estate the way it is, there's not a lot of buying and selling going on, and I think a lot of people are staying in their homes. So I think this is going to become even more of a deal as people are not moving as often. And so they may have that home that they don't want to leave, but they're going to have to do it.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're at the end, my friend.
Okay. That was fast.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read the serious quote because the funny quote is in regard to pets, and I don't have any pets.
And I have many.
So here's the quote.
Okay.
Respecting the old when you are young. Help the weak when you are strong. Confess your faults when you are wrong, because one day you will be old, weak, and wrong. And I don't mean that like as in a negative thing,
No.
but when you're on your top game, that's great. But when you're not, you're going to want those people to help you. So,
yeah, you go, girl.
Respect,
I love that.
Respect the old.
I love that. All right. For all of you pet lovers out there, I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I can relate to this very much. Ready? They should make an alarm clock that sounds like a dog or a cat ready to vomit. Nothing makes me jump out of bed faster. And that is so true.
So true.
Oh my God. My dang cats. What is up with cats and puking? I just don't know, but gets me out of bed in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyway, so we want to thank Gabby so much for sponsoring this episode. And
see you in High Point on our Insiders Tour. Can't
yes,
wait.
Yes. So just a reminder to reach out to us anytime at podcast@candrak-cole.com. And please rate and review us so others can find us. And registration is still open for the High Point Market Insiders Tour. So go to www.highpointmarket.org//insiders tour.
Yep. All right, peeps. Well, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at candrak-cole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram @CandrakCole.